Hey, welcome to another Tuesday night Pell session with me. Last week we looked at how to do the 1 to 6 drill and also about rolling the hand in front of the head to do a quick onside offside. This week we're going to be talking more about returns and what we want to get out of this 1 to 6 drill that we got shown last week. So basically, when doing Pell work, it's about two things. One is repetition, so that when you want a certain shot, you are able to just do that shot at will. Secondly, it's about being able to work out how to get from one position to another position smoothly and quickly. And this is where returns come in very important and what we really want to practice out of this 1 to 6 drill. So basically, what I mean by that is that a return is however you get the sword back, ready to throw again. That is one kind of return. However, in almost all situations, there's multiple ways to return the sword. Some of them good, some bad, some indifferent. For example, with the quick snap, you can go high for a return, or you can go low for a return. Low is a little bit longer, but does make it look like you're going to go down for the legs, which may make it a better return for your opponent. It can also change the way that you're going to actually step around your opponent as you do the returns. A very favorite of mine is to actually return by doing a step. And what I mean by that is if I've thrown an offside to here, my return is I step back under my own sword, return it to my shoulder. Here I have to step backwards because the Pell won't move, but if my opponent moves backwards, I can then step forwards to strike again. So, with the 1 to 6 drill, what we want to look at is, can we do any shot with both a high and a low return? Basically with the hand coming back high, low. What this allows us to do is explore the whole way that we can bring that sword back, the whole way that we can throw it back at our opponent, and what return is better for certain shots that we're going for next. Now, there is certain shots where when you first look at them, you think, how do I actually get two returns to go from one to the other? A classic example is if I to the high snap and then I want to go to the offside leg, the thought process is a high return to that offside leg. Very good shot, very nice way of doing it. However, there is a low version of this, but it does involve a bit of footwork. For example, if I shoot high, drop the sword, step, and throw under my own shield, I can get across to that opposite side in a completely new and novel way without having to rely on the same return every single time. And you'll find that for so many of these shots, you can do a similar kind of maneuver in different times to do whatever you want to do in different places. Another key fact to remember is once you've got this high-low return process working fairly well, where you can return high to the same spot or to a different spot, is to then think about throwing locations and zones of movement. And what I'm referring to here is that it's all very good to have a return like so, where you get to that spot again. However, if you do this in a fight and your opponent always knows that you're going to that spot again, because when you want to go to the legs, you do that shot, that will give away what your next shot is going to be as you start thinking about your combination. So a good way to get out of this habit is to start thinking about return zones and default guards. In this case, a guard is not I'm stopping here and I'm waiting. A guard is just a zone or a motion that you're going through as you return to the next one. For me, myself, is I have a guard with the sword back here. At this point, I have not decided where the blade is going to next. I can continue it back to reset it to my shoulder. I can get it back to here and then drive it with the leg. I can get it back to here drive it for the head, I can get it back to here, step and drive it for the offside. I can drive it into any place I want to go to. And yes, if I'm actually stopping and ready to throw again, I will reset to a slightly different position. But every time I feel my hand go back through this position, at this moment I can look at my opponent and choose where the next shot is going to go. Likewise, I have a guard position on the opposite side. For me, it's the hanging guard usually. From this hanging guard position, I can drop the hand to throw a snap. I can drop the hand to throw an offside leg. I can roll around to throw to the leg. I can go through all these extra shots as I transition through this position. And what that means is it doesn't matter where I'm going to from here, my opponent can't prejudge where I'm going to because I've practiced how to go to any other. Likewise, with that hanging guard, I have practiced how to throw to any other guard. I do also have a couple of other ones. They're less used. For example, the vertical guard. That one is quite nice for certain shots, but I tend to use it less often just because my brain isn't so keyed into that one, and I do find that hanging guard as a nicer position, maybe because I'm quite tall. So from having that, now what we want to do is we want to build up our 1 to 6 drill, and we want to do it twice. What that means is we want to do it once returning high, once returning low. Doesn't have to be right up, but what it does mean is that you will practice funky little shots like this. You might hit, drop the tip of the sword, step, and throw to the opposite side with a low return. That one is quite good to get your opponent off position and so forth. One key factor that you have to remember with all of these shots is that while it's okay to sit here and practice them against a Pell without a shield, really the final polish, the final work on them has to occur with a shield. Because if you have got a shield here, you want to have your flow on the Pell to be using the shield in combination with your sword. What I mean by this is that if I'm throwing for the leg, I'm going to lift the shield so that my head is protected, because that is the best spot. If I keep the shield down here, I will get hit in the head quite easily. Likewise, when I'm trying one of those fancier shots where I'm hitting here, dropping the sword tip low and then going for the offside leg, I need to practice getting that shield back and then projecting it forward for the actual strike to once again bring it online and protect myself. You'll find that with these combinations, there is lots of little things that you need to do with popping this shield up to bring it back online and tidying it away just to clear the line for your sword to throw through. Again, it's a time to experiment, a time to figure out what motions and shots work for you. I will be showing a couple of new shots in the next session, but for now, have a play, have a practice. Remember, practice multiple returns, high and low, and also remember to practice going through a similar zone until you figure out which zones work for you, have the power to throw from, and can hit almost anywhere on the Pell. Anyway, that's it for tonight. I will catch you all next week. Have a good one.